good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Open Mic Foundation. It is a Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much. If you're looking at and you're streaming from around the world, thank you much for joining. Today is a little bit different. We are doing a face-to-face live interview with Melanie today. We changed it up to see what it's going to be like to start inviting our talks and our speakers through today. So that they can come in and to interact with us on a personal level. So Melanie, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
So let's get started. I just want to wish everyone thank you so much for joining again. We have different channels for the Open Mic Foundation. We are streaming live on Facebook. We also have a YouTube channel, which you can catch us up on Open Mic Foundation. And our Instagram handle is actually Open Mic Foundation. So thank you so much for joining. And so we're going to get through today's talk. You're going to see me a little bit different today. I'm going to have my clipboard. I'm going to have my phone to have a look at any comments. So it's not that I'm ignoring you, Melanie. So please take note. So let's go into it. I think, Melanie, introduce yourself, to everyone. And where's Melanie from and what Melanie does.
Oh my word. Well, two. As you know, Melanie or Melanie, whatever. Same spelling, different way of expressing it. I am 49. Awesomeness. And enjoying life.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Melanie, for joining us today. I think a lot of people is interested in this topic. I have a lot of comments that was coming through. So let's just dive into it. The final frontier. I must say, when I first heard this and you told me, this is your topic, I was like, are we going to Star Trek? Are we going to Star Trek?
Inspiration from Space Beyond, yes. So it was that openness, vastness, and yes, the spacey coolness of it.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so I think let's get through your talk, finding balance and well-being, right? So I think let's dive into your story and share with us the journey that you've been on.
Absolutely. We all tend to live life, surviving, moving forward. You start out life, going with it as a child with that innocence, exploring it, expressing, going, married life, children. That's the way we were brought up, thinking that is what life's about.
Yeah.
Not having fun, it is that doing things and you just get on with it. So that finding balance is, you do the kids, you do marriage, you do all the expectations. Careers. And then on a day, suddenly, no more marriage. This is something different that we're not brought up, our parents not necessarily lived separate lives. It is a total thing about what now? And at that stage, your body is a reflection of your life. And it takes some punishment. Definitely so. And our mental and well-being, physical health, is always at the back burner of what we need to do. How do we survive? After a mother, a wife, you are living, you are the last in the list of things that need attention. And like I said, that new Sunday, a date without a marriage. And you're thinking, what now? You pursue different work, avenues, different way of expressing, different way of finding yourself again, re-establishing the new you. So with that is my journey in finding balance as to what I've been and now what I have to become, or actually more expression of who I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And discovering each day, I can feel like a child. I can do naughty things like eat chocolate, be fat, be thin, be whatever I want to be, and find happiness in that. And also, that is that finding balance that is workable and livable.
Yeah, can definitely relate to that. I think a lot of women out there, we tend to put ourselves last, right? To your point, it's about you are the one that's the last, and it's always the children, it's always the spouse, or it's always the boyfriend or the girlfriend, and it's always everyone else, and you don't really tend to look at yourself and what's needed, from your point or from what you need in order to move forward or to survive. Definitely, for sure. I think a lot of us can definitely relate to that, definitely, for sure.
Absolutely. So this is a very important point, finding balance that is good for you, because you are allowed. At the end of the day, it's you that has to carry the weight of over abusing your body, your mental strength, you're pushing yourself to the limit. And at the end of the day, what is worthwhile for me? What is bringing happiness, harmony? What is making me grow? Wanting to be happy? Absolutely, just balance is a good or overall expression of it, but it covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, especially what's happening right now with COVID and the pandemic that's happening across the world, I think a lot of people are out of balance right now, and people don't know how to find that balance again in themselves. We are so used to that routine that it's been programmed with us for so many years, and now when something has taken us off balance, it's now, okay, now what does balance look like right now? And a lot of people are trying to figure out what does it mean to be balanced again, and how do I get back onto the balance, right?
Absolutely. Finding that comfort space in yourself, because everything changed.
Yes.
Our way of living has totally changed forever. That going to work, all the little blocks in your life, you go to work, children go to school, house. There is barriers of work stays at work, home at home.
Yeah.
Now it's a combination of there isn't a door, or now it's a door you have to close. Not for everybody, depending on their space. But work is still here, taking 24 hours of your day, and not just the 8 or 12 hours you spent at work, the time you drove.
Yep.
That was like a definite barrier. Between, and then you're off to home life, and then it's the kids and jam-packed that little time you have with them. Now it's the kids are mostly at home.
Yes.
Limited kids that does go back to school. So it is stressful, even more so. So on the other side, you've got people that has got no income, no viable job to go to, so it's just a continuous of the home environment and home stress. Not having a break to that. As to the workaholics, like you,
yes,
that doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So finding balance is a tricky bit.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what is going to make you change that way and stop to say, listen, I need time for me. I need time for my own health. When you're at the end of burnout, that's a little bit too late.
Yeah.
And that is where, unfortunately, all of us miss the boat completely, because you are so focused on life, living the pressures of what work wants, the pressures of the family. that of our whole civilization.
Mhm.
I mean, your communities, everybody is just pushing and pushing, and you're just giving and going and going
Mm.
till life changes so much. And that's what happened to me. Life decided I had a good go at it,
Mhm.
made a mess of too much giving, not enough receiving, not enough love to myself.
Mhm.
Got burnout. Okay, so that was the first one. You've got burnout.
Yeah.
Awesome. The doctor told me my willpower is the only thing that's keeping me alive.
Yeah.
So what we do, we deal with it. You've got the meds, you've got just going, but you can't stop working, you can't stop doing things because you need to live.
Mhm.
So pushing beyond that, till life decided, stuff you have to stop. And life stopped me in my tracks. I was hanging on threads, being alive. To what end? There was no really good reason to go through everything for giving up life. It's a waste of time. So life stopped me in my tracks, and physically my whole nervous system gave way.
Yeah, sure.
The choice was taken from me.
you. Yeah.
And that put me on a totally crazy mindset
Yeah.
of letting go. And I am allowed. I choose to live, and how I'm going to achieve it. So that was a bit hectic.
Yeah. I think there's lots of things. Guys, send your comments. Hi Suzanne. Suzanne's from Singapore. Thank you so much for joining, Suzanne. We have a lot of people that's on. Please send through your comments, your questions for Melanie. And let's start sharing some thoughts and comments, towards her. I think, people people take it lightly when it comes to your well-being. People don't understand what it means from a well-being perspective, right? They think doing the exercises, going to yoga classes, and doing the normal thing, that's sufficient. I think well-being has a combination of various aspects, right? Well-being's got to do with mental health, it's got to do with emotional health, it's got to do with your physical body, which we tend to take care of more because we think going to the gym or going to yoga classes is fine. But there's the underlying thing that happens as well, where you have the emotional, the mental, the nutrition part as well. As much as people take supplements and they eat all natural, they think that is sufficient. But we don't tend to look at well-being as a whole. We kind of pocket it into different aspects, and we don't look at it collectively and look at it, what is it can we look at collectively, and how do we manage well-being collectively going forward. And to your point as well, people tend not to see that.
Absolutely. I was, in my thinking and limited knowledge, was thinking I did spinning at least 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yoga 3 times a week. I did skydiving. I was active, was weighing 65 kilos. I mean, awesomeness. I looked healthier. It seemed healthy. I was just coping with my stress. Expression of that. But my body suffered. The mental stress, emotional stress, that is the beginning of unease, illness in the body.
Yeah.
So we cope with our stress, doing all these things, thinking you're eating healthy. I mean, you live, you restrict yourself. Absolutely. It didn't help me anyway. It didn't change the outcome of it. My mind is what made a difference.
Okay.
Because it takes effort, a different kind of effort, to choose to live. That I don't need to go to the gym. It's not good for my overstressed body. I'm not saying exercise isn't good for you, eating healthy. That is not. It is about the stress management of it. Overextended body. I usually explain to my clients, your energy is like a tap of water, dribbles. The pipe is the limitation of how much water can come through. Your energy, your body creates, is basically the same, in my opinion. So this is what you've got. Now you're overextending your body, wanting more output than what you're actually generating and have available. So you're exercising to the extreme if your body is tired, overstressed, and in a disease state. So you're overstressing it by doing all these things. The body needs time and energy to heal itself. So there is definitely balance in everything you do.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's a lot of people have to come to understand, when it is time to stop. Some people crash and then it's like, okay, it's now time to stop and now let's, look at it. Not realizing how far down the line someone has been, right?
Absolutely. So by the time I stopped doing all those things, the damage to my body was so severe. Total nervous system collapse is hectic. And that was 2 years ago. So the burnout started 4 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years I continued.
Okay.
After the diagnosis, still not slowing down. Okay, I did stop skydiving.
Okay.
I'm not quite that, but yes,
Okay.
we'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
Absolutely. The organ damage is so severe. I'm still battling now. So 4 years, didn't take a break. 2 years ago, the total nervous system collapse. Taking me all this time, a year, that I had absolutely no capability to work, to do anything. I was breathing, but I wasn't living. I wasn't alive. My body had no energy, no output, no emotional anything. I was just sitting. Physically, I couldn't do anything. That is mind-boggling thinking.
Yeah.
Very energetic, busy. I was always freaking busy. I had to sit. I couldn't do anything. Then the slow rebuilding of your body takes eons, and finding the right combination of things to build up, because you need to start cellular level, you need nutrition, you need de-stressing your life and building up inside and outside, and the emotional work. I mean, it's hectic on everybody, but I had to, truthfully, the first couple of months I just wanted to die. That was, I couldn't see beyond the next day. I didn't want to see. My kids was the only thing that kept me getting up each day.
It's just too much. It was overwhelming, right? Because you were alive, but you weren't alive because you can't find yourself to do anything. You couldn't move.
It's a physical state of not being able.
Yeah.
Everything stopped in my tracks.
I think a lot of people go through, I think a lot of women go through that. I think we underestimate, what our day-to-day challenges go through today. We underestimate the rat, we call it in Gauteng the rat race.
Absolutely.
The rat race that we go through all the time. We talk about, we look at, what are the ins and outs about, okay, how do we move from here? How do we move to the next one? It's always the next one. It's either the next career, it's always the next house, it's always the next car, it's always something next, right? There's nothing that says stop.
Absolutely. That need for survival.
Yeah.
Acquiring, yes, but I mean, you have to have income. You have to have a purpose, but a worldly purpose. You need to acquire. You need to grow. You need to perform.
Yeah, I think it's quite daunting that we don't see this, right? We only see it once we burned out, or we only see it when, like you mentioned earlier, that you're at a thread and not and knowing where to go. So what was some of the things that you did? How did you move from being on that thread and not willing or not able to move, and knowing that you didn't know what's happening the next day?
I rediscovered a faith in, I won't say I found God. That is not the faith I'm referring to. I found life and the energy that transforms it. It's a more open, non-spiritual awareness.
Okay.
I had to start from the basics. My mind, listening to a lot of motivational stuff, a lot of discovering meditation. Because I mean, you sit there, you have got no positive thought in yourself. There is just the blackness of tiredness. And you replay all these things that got you to this space.
Yep.
Just like a madness. So I had to quiet the noise in my head. So I've got beautiful, caring people that I'm very grateful for, that had patience, because I couldn't even stand being close to people. I was just closing down shop. So being this adventurous being that you can't really get rid of, I tried different approaches of, I mean, the mainstream. You believe in medicine, you believe in doctors know what's good for you, and you in that desperation of realizing the state of your body. So I did try the mainstream medical avenue, integrated medicine. I mean, I spent ridiculously amounts of money staying alive. I mean, it did keep me alive when I started off. If it weren't for the medication I received, the wonderful doctors, that just basically kept me alive. My body worsened through that, in the sense I couldn't stop working, I couldn't stop doing all these things. So with the burnout, the not being able to work, I had to reassess how I am going to get healthy, because spending all this money hasn't got me anywhere. I mean, in that state of mind, you don't feel very lucky.
No, definitely.
Absolutely not. So the interesting got me into this journey of color therapy. I don't also talking about what's all the problems in your life was never really beneficial to me, because you can talk nonsense and not get anywhere. So that is that doing personality of me. I need to do something to shift to make it feel better. So I tried different avenues of weirdness of treatments and more weirdness of treatments, because mainstream medicine didn't cut it for me. I needed something different.
So you tried the mainstream therapy.
Yes.
Obviously, you figured out at that time it wasn't working for you. So you needed something.
It worked. It kept me alive, but it didn't make me better.
Okay. So there was still something missing.
Absolutely, there was a lot missing.
Okay.
Because I was sitting here feeling very sorry for myself, not getting anywhere, spending so much money, And yeah, I am.
Okay.
So at the end, you have to go through this journey of experience to get back to where you started. So the funny where I started, always inquiring and expanding and that acquiring things and new things away, years back. Okay, so I always had this bit of rebellion in me about what people say that's good for you isn't necessarily good for you. So struggling with my kids' health, always antibiotics, always nonsense and not getting better. I bought my bi-frequency device 14 years ago.
Okay.
So that was awesomeness. It sounded so good on paper. And it's something different, energetic medicine. It sounds really, really
What is it called?
Scio.
Scio.
Scio. So I bought this device that works very scientifically. I mean, I like the science. I don't like things I can't prove for myself. So I got my Scio that time, did the training, very excited, and was, okay, so I come from a strict Afrikaans community, very religious, and that's the way we roll.
Yeah.
So some of these interesting explanations of energy and stuff was far beyond my comfort zones at that stage. They started with the subspace treatment. Somebody treating somebody that's not close to you, and it works. And this was, yeah, right.
Sure, okay.
I mean, remote healing. That yes, as in, I was looking at this and thinking, yeah, right. Don't think so. So we went through, and the more I learned about the Scio and the different modalities of it, the more excited I became. But like the subspace thingy, it was like hectic. And there was spiritual easing, and there was weird things in this included. So I just stuck to the things that I felt comfortable with.
Okay.
But with the subspace one, so me being adventurous and wanting to test it out, my one sister lived in the UK at that stage. So she wasn't feeling very nicely, and I said, let's try the Scio treatment on her. So I connected with her through the Scio. So I'm testing, because if you treat somebody, there's a closed loop. So you've got the head wall harness thingies. I mean, you can see the energy, you can see the electric current, you can see it.
Okay.
This must be working, and you can feel the benefits.
So it's tangible that you want to, right? Because to you in your mind is that she's not connected.
Yes, you're not plugged in.
Yeah, so tangible, literally.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I tested my sister, and it was very funny. I got this emotional alarms. It tells me enough therapy. And I message her. Now she's watching a karate movie. And I'm thinking, Melo, you're doing this. You have to calm and do the healing thing. So immediately her watching the movie excited her. So her body said, it's too much. Stop treatment. And with that, when I spoke later to her, I said to her, it looks like you've got the Bosleigh's bite.
Yeah?
And she said, how did you know? I said, my Scio knew. Who knew? My Scio knew.
What was her reaction?
I mean, there was a few things that came up that total surprise.
Wow.
She didn't tell me about it,
Yeah?
but I could see there is things there.
Wow.
So, I mean, I'm thinking this is wonderful. I mean, really exciting. I've got something to prove. What I see, a real life reaction there on the other side of the pond where she is. So that was awesome, discovering subspace works. It works on the basis of quantum energy. So,
okay, quantum energy.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
the very intelligent scientists can't explain it, but it is. Basically, one thing in two different places at the same time. That's energy.
Yeah.
It works.
It works.
So with all this excitement, I mean, it was like, it's really fun doing this thing. It was. I enjoyed it. I not necessarily understood the workings of it, but the basics of it, the computer software, I mean, your operating system. You do it, you work through it, beautiful. So I started doing that for people, and beautiful, it worked. But at that time in my life, I chose different things. I built our house, so I got more stuck into the house, doing other things, treating my kids. My youngest, she can't swallow a tablet. She doesn't know how to because she's not used to it. Because, I mean, energetic medicine, you don't take anything, it is just there in your body. Amazing this life.
Wow.
So that was a change back. So you're wondering, now with this wonderful Scio, why did I go through the whole burnout thing? It's unlogical. But in my logical mind, having my Scio basically for 10 years, I'm thinking software outdated, pathogens change, because it works on viruses, bacteria, fungi. It basically sends a signal that disintegrates the cell membrane. So I'm thinking,
It's
everything evolves, it's outdated,
okay.
it's not working. So, I mean, through the years, I did less and less therapies with my kids. I mean, the basic programs was cool, but the pathogens, I was thinking, outdated. And it takes effort.
Absolutely.
Because sitting down, for me, busy bee, sitting down for 2 hours was torture. Absolutely. So it's easy as swallowing a tablet. So with time, you got into that lack of putting in the effort. So, and at some stage, I did stop doing, I forgot about my Scio, put it away. And that was it. I mean, and busy with life. So, funniness of the story. So, starting now, again, resetting now, a year and a half odd ago. I mean, all health issues crack up. So, you're thinking you have to go to the gym. So, started exercising because I gained a lot of weight. There, my knee swollen. Nothing works, no medication, and then the doctor tells you nicely you have to go for an operation because you've got water on your knee. And I'm thinking, I don't want to do that. And I just, you know that Scio thing? Maybe I should just dust it off again. So I did dust it off, and the Scio didn't want to work with me. He didn't want to. And I'm like, how is this possible? It's supposed to connect. So energy is funny. So I did the big thing, updated software, updated my hardware. Okay, yeah. I updated first my software on my new computer. Yes. So it's a little screen with a thingy. In 3 treatments, my knee swelling was down. Perfect back to normal. No operation needed, no more pain, no medication whatsoever.
Wow.
Absolutely not. And I'm thinking, may I say dumb ass? That was what I was thinking. And with my little screen that I difficulty, I thought, okay, so got this beautiful new software that is beautiful. Got my big ass computer. And I started getting better. Not just basically I could see my knee is better.
Okay.
I could walk without pain. After months, I walked about for 3-4 months with excruciating pain. I mean, that was just ridiculous how quickly it all dissipated. So it was last year again, I got back into Scio and went to the World Conference in Budapest. That was amazing. And that was just that spark back in my life. And going to Budapest, I'm thinking, I don't know anything. And sitting there and having this brilliant doctors, professors explaining medical work, working through this device. And I'm thinking, I'm not that dumb. I actually know a few things. So that realization as well, everything I learned 14 years ago that I didn't quite understood. Only the basics of anatomy and physiology, the basics of knowledge I had, and finally understanding energy, how it works, how to find that balance in healing and heal myself is the amazing journey.
Wow. You don't really hear much about Scio therapy, though.
No.
It's not a common, practice. I think a lot of people,
People that did or are desperate enough find different ways, alternative ways of getting better.
Yeah.
So, and because it's not medically financed, it falls under natural healing.
Okay.
So that's not like the Dol of Savoy. People associate natural healing with weird nonsense.
Yeah.
That isn't necessarily so. It's a legit, scientific, proven therapy basis, but it's not well known, and it's basically cash-based.
Okay.
So there's actually a lot of devices worldwide, different sort of energy devices, all works differently. With my Scio, what I appreciate about that, it tests more than 10,000 different frequencies.
Okay.
So you go for a blood test. You have to wait a couple of days for the results. And that was the state of your blood the day the blood was drawn.
Drawn, yes.
With energy, it's immediate. It tests you, it gives you variations of and possibilities of. So it shows the imbalances immediately.
Okay.
It doesn't diagnose, or I can't diagnose, I'm not a doctor, but it can show me the imbalances in your body immediately, what your body needs to ease, and with the Scio, it does something about it as well. It's not just
dictating it,
basically testing and saying this is this.
Okay.
I do something about it. You may have a frequency of illness or imbalance in your body. It doesn't mean you have got that illness as yet. It's not manifested as yet. It's just the issue coming up. We do something about it. We move on.
So basically from what I can understand is that Scio therapy tests what your blood, your frequency is projecting at that given point in time. Okay.
Let's go back to the basics. Your body is energy.
Yes.
Everything in you is a frequency of.
Okay. So it picks up your frequencies within the body.
Absolutely.
And then the Scio detects basically what is off balance, what is depleted, what is missing, and obviously
what is your biggest energetic risk of that?
Okay.
As well. The frequency amount of pathogens. So you can see this is has got a bigger resonance.
Yeah.
Certain viruses.
Okay.
Or fungi or bacteria.
Okay.
Depending, that influences. So if you go back to the basic of illness, the theory is, or not theory, practice works, emotions create tangible outcome
That's
of
right.
things.
Yeah.
So illness, that's where it starts. You get unease, the body is imbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
Pathogens get an opportunity to grow
Mm-hmm.
in you, so that causes more stress.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. So basically, what does that mean? That Scio finds that imbalance and you remediate it through the therapy.
That's very nicely stated.
Yeah. Through the therapy that you have a Scio dictate, and you actually find that balance and actually balances off the energy, and that's what it sounds.
So it's not very complicated to be explaining it. It's putting the healthy frequency on cellular level back in your body.
Okay, remediating it.
Your body integrates
Mhm.
that frequency depending on the available protons, electrons absorbing that, regenerating healthy frequency cells. So it triggers detox of the emotional, physical, unease noise out of the cells, replace it, encourage it to integrate the healthier frequency, reproducing or promoting, boosting your body to heal itself.
That's a good explanation. Wow. I must say, I think I'm going to encourage people to try this out and to see, you know, you don't want to wait until people is depleted and stuff, but I mean, Scio is a scientifically tested remedy and a type of treatment that has been given. I highly suggest people try this out. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see some of the people. I think, you know, we're so used to traditional medicine, right? We're so used to going to the doctor, getting your antibiotics, doing your blood test, going through all of these things because that's what we've been taught for many centuries and decades, right? We've never found alternate. I mean, there's been a lot of alternate medicines out there these days. It's becoming more and more prominent, should I say, that people are looking into alternate medication, integrated wellness, a whole host of things. Scio, however, is in between them, though, because it is scientific.
It is absolutely based.
Yeah.
It works. It's proven.
Yeah.
Frequency healing, or every organism got a different frequency. It vibrates at. So that is measured. That's the resonance biofrequency. Measure the resonance and the feedback of it. It is not a plaster for a headache or an unease. I do not tend to people's output of the unease. I mean, you can go take a tablet for that. Energy healing goes to find the cause of it, to find where the imbalance is and start working from there.
The root cause.
So basically, from cellular level, working out. There is 72 modalities combined in the software. That has got electrical acupuncture, meridian cleansing, trivectors, dental programs, homeopathy, nutritional, sports programs. So you don't need to be ill, or your concept of being ill before you have a chemotherapy. You go for a massage because it's nice and it's good for you. It's good for relaxation.
It makes you feel better.
You feel better. This is a non-invasive treatment. So it's not, I was just thinking, people think they get an electrical shock. No, it doesn't work like that. It's a non-invasive, subtle treatment. You can't overstress the body. it's easing, balancing,
Mm-hmm.
and resetting, giving your body what it needs to heal itself. But ultimately, your body has got everything. You just forgot it. And it's so overwhelmed with all the other stuff you pack on it. So it's easing that, getting to better health.
Okay. Fantastic. I think it's something that I think people need to explore. So I think, Melanie, if you can share with the people, how do they contact you? So if you want to book treatment, I'm not going to put you into the spot. What I will do is that I think on Facebook, send them your details in terms of, how do they get a hold of you if they want to book a Scio treatment to see what all Scio is all about, right? I'm sure there's a lot of people that's going to be fascinated. And what's nice about Scio is that you don't have to be by Melanie. She can do it remotely. Yeah, so for all the people that's out there in the different parts of the world, Open Mic it's a global platform. So contact Melanie. I mean, you'll be able to DM her and Messenger on Facebook. Contact her, and you'll definitely be able to see what Scio's about. And I'm going to challenge you guys. Contact her, try her out, and see what Scio's about, right? I'm always a firm believer is that if you don't try something out, you're never going to know what's right at your doorstep right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, it works for everything. Even sports sport. I used to have professional cyclists that I promoted their oxygen intake, hormonal balances before races, and then the recovery afterwards. It is beautiful. So there is sport or group therapy that you can do treatment on a team, working together. So that works for the works environment as well.
Okay.
People with a similar undertone, like work stress or, a sport team.
A cycle team, like
Yes.
a cyclist team. Yeah.
You can promote in a group. You don't just individually treat, but as a group.
As a group. Okay.
You can do a treatment at the same time.
Okay.
There is absolutely, it doesn't make coffee, that's a limit to it.
It doesn't make coffee.
It does a lot.
It enhances, definitely.
Absolutely.
So guys, I'm going to say, any final words from you, Melanie? I want to thank you so much for taking the time and coming to Open Mic today and driving all the way to coming to do this live interview with me. It is the first live interview today, guys. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the live interview. Share with me what do you think. And let me know. Any final words to our audience?
Yes. Just remember, when I used to do skydiving, so it is scary as hell. And you have to prompt yourself out the door always. It's not like, not in the beginning. So I had this one instructor, a beautiful, awesome guy. He used to say, before, you're traveling up, you're stressed, you're all packed in the plane with all your gear, everything in you, going through your sequence, and you go, I have to get out the door, I have to get out the door. And his words were always, let's do this shit. And that always stuck with me. You get so excited thinking, let's do this. And then that moment when you're actually at the door looking and you just release. And the final message in this long relay is, beyond fear, there is total exhilarating bliss. You just need to go get it.
Yep, totally support you and agree with you, right? Because if you don't go out there and get it, it ain't gonna come to you.
And it is bliss.
Yeah. And nothing comes to you unless you go and find it and make an effort to go and do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Melanie, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you so much for coming through. We have a surprise next week. We have a live fashion, a South African international designer celebrating South African Heritage Week next week. I will be doing a spot-on interview on Thursday next week on the day, and then on Sunday we're going to be streaming live on multiple different Facebook pages across the world to streamline the Heritage Week of South Africa. The designer is Kutala Mayose. She's the designer. The design is called Umni. It's called Umni Designs. Please log on next week, and looking forward to meeting you guys, and be safe, be good. Thank you so much for joining.
Awesome.